bar. Pain is something most people try to run from, but for champions like The Rock, pain becomes the doorway to the next level. When he steps into the gym, he doesn't come to negotiate with weakness, he comes to dominate it. That's what separates him from the rest. The unbreakable mindset isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And the way you build it is by walking straight into the discomfort that everyone else is trying to avoid. That first moment when you pick up the weight, when your body wants to resist, when your mind whispers, "Not today," that's the place where most people quit. But The Rock pushes past that point because he understands something powerful. Everything you want in life is on the other side of pain. The most painful workout isn't just physical, it's a mental battlefield, a confrontation with every doubt, every fear, every excuse that tries to stand in your way. When you choose to keep going, even when your muscles are burning, your lungs are screaming, and your body is begging you to stop, you are building the kind of mental armor that can't be broken. That armor is what will carry you through life's biggest storms. The Rock's mindset is built on years of refusing to quit. He knows that the gym is just a reflection of life. If you can win in the gym, you can win anywhere, because the same discipline it takes to grind through a painful workout is the same discipline it takes to overcome obstacles, build a career, protect your family, and chase your dreams. Pain becomes the teacher. Discipline becomes the reward. It's in the moments where you push one more rep, one more set, one more minute, that real transformation happens. Bar. There's a reason The Rock always talks about outworking everyone in the room. That mindset didn't come from comfort. It came from choosing to face the pain instead of avoiding it. When he says focus, he means locking in on what matters and shutting out everything that doesn't. The outside world can distract you, but your inner world must be unstoppable. Every time he enters the Iron Paradise, he brings the same energy, the same hunger, the same drive. Because consistency is how you build the unbreakable mindset, not once in a while, not when you feel good. Every single day, even on the days when you're tired, even on the days when you're stressed, even on the days when your motivation is gone. Because motivation might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you going. That's why The Rock embraces the pain of the process. He understands that pain is temporary, but the pride of finishing what you started lasts forever. Most people want results, but don't want the struggle that comes before the results. They want the strength without the soreness, the success without the sacrifice, the transformation without the grind. But The Rock knows you can't cheat the process. Every rep is earned. Every muscle is built through resistance. You grow because your body adapts to the stress you put it under. That's why pain isn't the enemy, it's the signal that you're growing. When you start seeing pain as progress, you stop avoiding it and start chasing it. The unbreakable mindset is also built by mastering the voice in your head. Everyone has that inner voice that tries to hold them back. It tells you you're tired, that you've done enough, that you don't need to push anymore. Champions learn to silence that voice. They replace it with a louder one that says, keep going, push harder, stay focused, finish strong. The Rock didn't become who he is by being soft with himself. He became who he is by demanding more from himself every day. That's the mindset you need if you want to achieve something extraordinary. It doesn't matter whether you're in the gym, at work, or building your future. The mindset is the same. You must be willing to push past the point where most people stop. Pain is also a reminder that you're alive, that you're wooing, that you're capable of more than you think. Too many people underestimate their own strength. They stop long before their real limit. The Rock trains until he meets that limit and then pushes beyond it. That's why his workouts are legendary. Not because he's trying to look impressive, but because he's trying to become a better version of himself. Every drop of sweat is a reminder that greatness isn't given, it's earned. The unbreakable mindset is built through repetition. Repeating the habit of showing up, repeating the commitment to push harder, repeating the belief that you were made for something greater. And here's the truth. Your body follows where your mind leads. If your mind is weak, your body will be weak. But if your mind is strong, your body has no choice but to follow. That's why the most important muscle in any workout is your mindset. You can have the best equipment, the best environment, the best routine, but if your mind quits, everything else collapses. The Rock trains his mind the same way he trains his muscles, by putting it under pressure. Pain becomes part of the training. Discomfort becomes a tool. Discipline becomes a lifestyle. When you step into your own iron paradise, whatever that looks like for you, remember that every struggle is shaping you into someone stronger. Don't shy away from the pain. Embrace it. Don't fear the challenge. Rise to it. Don't let the difficulty break you. Let it build you. The unbreakable mindset is forged in the fire of the hardest moments. And if you can train your mind to push through pain in the gym, you can push through anything life throws at you. That's how you rise. That's how you transform. That's how you become unstoppable. Discipline is the foundation of greatness, and The Rock lives by it in every area of his life. When you watch him train, there's something unmistakable. He doesn't rely on motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. Discipline wakes you up before the sun rises. Discipline pushes you through the days when your body wants rest. Discipline forces you to show up even when no one is watching. That's the difference between wanting success and earning it. The Rock's relentless commitment didn't just appear out of thin air. It was built through years of showing up, day after day, rep after rep, even when he didn't feel like it. That is why discipline becomes more powerful than excuses, because excuses are temporary lies you tell yourself to avoid discomfort, but discipline is the truth that gets you closer to your goals. For The Rock, discipline means honoring the promises he makes to himself. It means sticking to a routine even when life gets complicated. It means understanding that every decision has consequences. Either it moves you forward or pulls you back. That's why he doesn't compromise when it comes to his workout. He knows that fitness is not just about building a stronger body, but building a stronger character. And that character is shaped by your actions, not your intentions. Anyone can say they want to be better, stronger, more successful, but only a few are willing to do what it takes. Discipline separates talkers from doers. There's a powerful message in the way The Rock structures his day. He chooses to start early before the world wakes up because he knows that the battle begins in the morning. If you win the morning, you win the day. He trains when others are sleeping. He works when others are resting. He grinds when others are making excuses. That consistency is not easy. It requires saying no to distractions, no to comfort, and no to the easy way out. Discipline is choosing the path of difficulty because you understand the reward that comes with it. When The Rock talks about the hardest worker in the room, he's not bragging. He's reinforcing a mindset. It's a standard he holds himself to every single day. True discipline means doing the work even when no one claps for you. It's staying committed when the results are slow. It's trusting the process when you're not sure how long it will take. The Rock didn't build his physique, his career, or his success overnight. It took years of grinding, failing, learning, and rebuilding. Most people quit because they want fast results. But discipline teaches you patience. It reminds you that greatness takes time. It teaches you that the reward doesn't come instantly. It comes from the accumulation of disciplined decisions stacked on top of each other. The gym is just one place where discipline shows itself. The real transformation happens in the daily choices that most people overlook. What you eat, how you sleep, who you spend time with, how you spend your hours. Discipline touches everything. And The Rock treats all of these with focus and intentionality. If he has a goal, he doesn't let anything distract him from it. He doesn't rely on the perfect conditions to begin. He creates the conditions by showing up with commitment. That's why his discipline inspires millions around the world, because it reminds us that no matter where we come from, we all have the ability to control our effort. Discipline is also about self-respect. When you consistently break promises to yourself, you weaken your confidence. You start to believe that you are someone who can't finish what you start. But when you practice discipline, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself. You build a reputation with yourself, that you are someone who follows through. Someone who doesn't quit, someone who finishes what they start. That internal confidence becomes unstoppable. It affects everything you do, from the gym to your career to your relationships. When you trust yourself, you move differently. You speak differently. You work differently. The Rock's discipline reflects a deeper purpose. He isn't just working out to look good. He trains to stay mentally grounded. The gym becomes a place where he centers himself, where he sharpens his mind, where he resets his focus. Discipline gives him structure. It keeps him aligned with his goals. It keeps him moving, even when life gets chaotic. And the truth is, life will always get chaotic. There will always be moments of stress, moments of doubt, moments when everything feels out of control. Discipline becomes your anchor in those moments. It reminds you who you are and what you stand for. Without discipline, you drift. With discipline, you rise. There will always be excuses available to you. Tired. You're busy. The timing isn't right. You'll start tomorrow. But excuses don't build muscle. Excuses don't build character. Excuses don't build dreams. The Rock chooses discipline over excuses because he understands that every day matters. Every rep matters. Every choice matters. When you choose discipline today, you make tomorrow easier. When you choose excuses today, you make tomorrow harder. Discipline compounds in the same way success does. One disciplined day becomes a disciplined week, then a disciplined month, then a disciplined life. Discipline also means accepting responsibility. The Rock doesn't blame others for his path. He owns his work, his choices, his results. That level of accountability is what empowers him to keep growing. Too many people choose the victim mindset. They look for someone else to blame. But discipline forces you to look inward and take control of your actions. It tells you that your future is shaped by what you do today, not by what happened yesterday. That kind of mindset changes everything. It turns obstacles into challenges, failures into lessons, and pain into fuel. The truth is, discipline is not glamorous. It's not always exciting. It's not always comfortable, but it is always worth it. The Rock proves that every time he steps foot in the gym, his success isn't luck. It's built on a foundation of consistency, hard work, and relentless discipline. And the best part, discipline is something you can choose too. Every day you have the opportunity to show up, to push harder, to be better than yesterday. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed. When you embrace discipline the way The Rock does, you transform not just your body, but your entire life. You learn that greatness isn't about talent or genetics, it's about commitment. It's about showing up when it's hard. It's about staying focused when it's uncomfortable. It's about choosing the grind over the excuse. And when you do that day after day, you build a mindset that can't be broken. That's how you level up. That's how you rise. That's how you become unstoppable. Pain is often misunderstood. Most people see it as something to avoid, something negative, something that signals weakness or danger. But champions see pain differently. They see it as transformation in disguise. That's why The Rock embraces it rather than runs from it. When he steps into the gym and says he's going to do the most painful workout, it's not because he enjoys suffering. It's because he understands what that suffering leads to. Every burn, every strain, every tough rep is shaping him into someone stronger, someone sharper, someone more capable. Pain becomes power when you learn how to use it instead of letting it defeat you. The truth is, nothing grows without pressure. Muscles don't grow without resistance, and character doesn't grow without adversity. The Rock knows this on a deeper level. When he pushes through a painful workout, he's not just building his body, he's training his spirit. He's teaching himself that discomfort is not a reason to stop, but a reason to push harder. Most people slow down when they feel pain, but that's exactly the moment he speeds up. Why? Because that is the moment when growth happens. The moment when the body tries to quit is the exact moment the mind must take over. That's how champions are forged. Turning pain into power is about shifting your relationship with struggle. Instead of feeling discouraged when things get hard, you learn to feel motivated. You understand that pain means progress, that the burn in your muscles means they're getting stronger, that the sweat dripping down your face means you're putting in the work, that the exhaustion means you're breaking past your old limits. The Rock always says he loves the grind because it reminds him that he's earning everything. Nothing is given to him. Everything is earned. And pain is part of the price for greatness. When you embrace pain, you stop expecting the journey to be easy. Easy never created legends. Easy never created champions. Pain does. Pain teaches discipline. Pain teaches resilience. Pain teaches you to keep going even when everything inside you wants to quit. And The Rock has lived through enough struggle in his life to know that pain is temporary, but the strength you gain from overcoming it lasts forever. He didn't reach the top because he avoided hard things. He reached the top because he faced them head on again and again until the hard things became normal. Pain is also a reminder that you are alive and capable. It shows you that you're doing something meaningful. When The Rock lifts heavy, pushes deep into sets, or finishes brutal circuits, he feels the pain, but he also feels the progress. He knows that every ounce of effort is preparing him for bigger battles outside the gym. That's why he trains with intensity, not because he wants to look strong, but because he wants to be strong, mentally, emotionally, and physically. The gym becomes a metaphor for life. If you can push through pain under a barbell, you can push through pain when life hits you hard. Many people fear pain because they think it will break them. But The Rock understands something powerful. Pain doesn't break you unless you let it. Pain can strengthen you if you choose to rise above it. It's all about the mindset you bring into the experience. Are you looking at pain as a wall blocking your path or as a doorway leading to your next level? When you shift your perspective, everything changes. Suddenly, pain is no longer something to fear, it becomes something to conquer. And conquering pain builds confidence. Every time you push through it, you tell yourself, I can handle more than I thought. That inner belief stays with you long after the workout ends. Turning pain into power also means accepting that growth doesn't happen in comfort. Comfort is where dreams go to die. Comfort steals ambition. Comfort stops progress. The Rock refuses to live in comfort because he knows it leads to mediocrity. Instead, he intentionally walks toward the struggle. He trains harder than anyone else. He puts himself through routines that many people wouldn't survive. And he does it with a mindset of gratitude because he knows that every painful moment is shaping him. There's a moment in every workout when you start to question yourself, why am I doing this? Can I keep going? Is this worth it? That moment is the turning point. That's where most people give up. But champions push past it. Pain exposes who you really are. It shows whether you are committed or just interested, whether you truly want the goal or just like the idea of it. The Rock pushes beyond that moment every time because he knows that his dreams, his goals, and his legacy depend on his ability to endure discomfort. The body is capable of so much more than the mind allows. When the Rock hits that wall, he doesn't stop. He pushes harder. He trains until the pain becomes familiar, until it becomes part of the process, until it becomes fuel. That is how he transforms. That is how he stays at the top year after year. Pain doesn't scare him, it motivates him. It reminds him that he's improving, evolving, becoming stronger. Life works the same way. The painful moments you face, failures, setbacks, heartbreak, rejection, can either destroy you or build you. It all depends on how you respond. You can let pain make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. The Rock chooses better. Every struggle he has faced, being broke, being rejected, feeling lost, became fuel for his fire. He turned emotional pain into physical power and turned both into success. When you learn to use pain instead of avoiding it, you gain control over your life. You are no longer scared of challenges. You no longer run from difficulty. You understand that every painful moment carries a lesson, a strength, a breakthrough. Pain forces you to grow. Pain gives you the opportunity to evolve. Pain shapes your character. So when you're in the middle of your own painful workout, whatever that may be, your job, your dreams, your struggles, remember this: pain is not the enemy. Pain is the path. Pain is your greatest teacher, your greatest mentor, your greatest opportunity. And if you can push through it with the same intensity and commitment as the Rock, you will discover a power inside you that you never knew existed. That power becomes your strength. That strength becomes your confidence. And that confidence becomes your unstoppable momentum. That is how pain transforms. That is how pain becomes power. That is how you rise. Consistency is the quiet force behind every great achievement, and the Rock embodies this truth in everything he does. He doesn't just work hard once. He doesn't show up only when the cameras are on or when he feels motivated. He shows up every single day, when he's tired, when he's sore, when he's traveling, when life gets chaotic. This is what separates the great from the average. Consistency creates results that motivation alone could never produce. It's the reason he continues to dominate Hollywood, business, fitness, and life. The Rock's daily grind mentality is more than a routine. It's a lifestyle built on unwavering commitment. When you watch him wake up at 4 a.m. to train, it's not because he wants to impress anyone, it's because he understands that champions are created long before anyone sees the finished product. He knows that every workout, every rep, every disciplined choice is part of a bigger picture. And that picture cannot be completed without consistency. Most people work hard for a day, a week, or maybe a month. But the fire fades, motivation disappears, excuses appear. The Rock doesn't rely on fleeting inspiration. He relies on structure. He relies on habits. He relies on doing the work regardless of how he feels. Consistency builds momentum. Once you start showing up regularly, you create a rhythm, an internal engine that keeps turning even during tough days. The Rock has mastered this rhythm. When he finishes one intense workout, he doesn't think about what he earned yesterday. He thinks about what he must do today. He understands that success doesn't care about your feelings. Success doesn't stop for your bad days. Success doesn't pause because you're tired. The people who achieve greatness are the ones who stay consistent no matter what storms they face. The daily grind is not glamorous. It's waking up early when you want to sleep in. It's choosing a workout over comfort. It's sticking to your meal plan when cravings attack. It's doing the extra reps when your muscles are screaming to stop. This is the part of success no one sees. It's the hard, unfiltered truth behind every physique, every accomplishment, every victory. The Rock doesn't get stronger because of one painful workout. He gets stronger because he commits to thousands of them. He shows up with the same energy, the same focus, and the same hunger every single time. Consistency also requires discipline and patience. You won't see results immediately, and that's where most people quit. They expect fast progress. They want instant change. But nothing meaningful happens overnight. The Rock knows this better than anyone. He wasn't always the global icon he is today. He had setbacks, failures, and moments where his future looked uncertain. But he kept showing up, he kept grinding, he kept pushing. Over time, those consistent actions built the empire he stands on today. There's a mindset shift that happens when you choose consistency. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking, do I feel like doing this? And instead say, this is what I do. It becomes part of your identity. And identity is far stronger than motivation. The Rock doesn't try to work out daily. It's who he is. It's a part of his identity as much as breathing. When fitness becomes part of who you are, you no longer struggle with the decision to show up. You simply show up. But consistency isn't only about the physical grind, it's about consistency in your attitude, your effort, your mindset. The Rock brings intensity and gratitude to every session. He stays humble, he stays hungry, and he stays focused. Even after millions of fans, blockbuster movies, and worldwide success, he still approaches the gym like a warrior. That humility and hunger are a direct result of consistency. They ground him, they remind him where he started and how far he still wants to go. Another important piece of consistency is resilience. Life will throw challenges your way, unexpected changes, failures, losses, stress. The Rock has faced all of these, but what keeps him centered is his ability to stick to the grind no matter what's happening around him. When life becomes overwhelming, he doesn't collapse under pressure. He leans into his routine. The gym becomes his sanctuary, his therapy, his reset button. Consistency gives him control when everything else feels uncertain. Showing up every day builds something even more valuable than muscle, self-respect. Every time you honor your commitment, you reinforce your confidence. You prove to yourself that you can rely on your own decisions. That inner trust becomes a superpower. It gives you the courage to aim higher, push further, and believe in your own strength. The Rock's confidence isn't ego. It's the result of thousands of days where he kept his promises to himself. Consistency also eliminates the illusion of luck. People often say The Rock is lucky. Lucky to be successful. Lucky to have opportunities. Lucky to be strong. But his luck is created by years of consistent effort. Opportunities come to those who prepare daily. Success gravitates toward those who grind relentlessly. The harder you work consistently, the luckier you become. You don't need to be perfect to be consistent. You just need to keep going. The Rock has bad days too. He gets tired, injured, stressed. But he doesn't let those moments define him. He adjusts, adapts, and pushes forward. Consistency is not about being flawless, it's about refusing to quit. When you commit to the daily grind like The Rock, you begin to realize that greatness isn't one big moment. It's thousands of small, consistent moments stacked on top of each other. Every day matters, every choice matters, every rep matters. And when you show up consistently, the results will come slowly, steadily, and powerfully. In the end, consistency turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It turns effort into excellence, pain into progress, and commitment into greatness. The Rock's journey is proof that anyone can rise if they're willing to grind daily. You don't need to be the strongest, the smartest, or the most talented. You just need to be the most consistent. That's how you build a powerful life. That's how you win. Sacrifice is the invisible weight every champion carries, and The Rock understands that without sacrifice, greatness is impossible. People look at his success, his strength, his confidence, and they imagine a glamorous path filled with fame and opportunity. But what they don't see is the price he paid to get here. The hours lost, the comfort denied, the choices that most people are unwilling to make. Sacrifice is not something he talks about lightly. It's the foundation of everything he's built. When he trains through pain, when he wakes up at 4 a.m., when he chooses discipline over comfort, he's making sacrifices that shape his future. That is the truth behind every achievement. Something has to be given up so something greater can rise. Many people want success, but they want it while holding on to their comforts. They want to look like The Rock, perform like him, achieve like him. But they don't want to endure the sacrifices he endures. They don't want to give up late nights, junk food, distractions, or excuses. Sacrifice is the price that separates the dreamers from the doers. It's easy to talk about goals. It's harder to live the lifestyle required to reach them. The Rock embraces sacrifice because he knows that every goal he has demands a certain cost, and he pays that cost willingly because the reward means more than temporary comfort. Sacrifice also teaches commitment. When you give something up for your dream, you strengthen your connection to that dream. The more you invest, the harder it becomes to quit. The Rock sacrificed time with friends, countless hours of sleep, and many opportunities that didn't align with his mission. He did it because he had a clear vision of who he wanted to become. When you're willing to sacrifice for your goals, you build a level of seriousness and focus that carries you through tough times. Every sacrifice becomes a reminder of why you started. Success has a rhythm of sacrifice. Early mornings, late nights, skip shortcuts, and relentless pressure. The Rock lives in this rhythm. When he steps into the gym while others are still asleep, that's sacrifice. When he chooses a strict meal plan instead of eating whatever he wants, that's sacrifice. When he trains through sore muscles and fatigue because he knows the work must be done, that too is sacrifice. These choices compound over time. Not in one day, not in 1 week, but over years. That's how greatness is built. Sacrifice also requires understanding your priorities. The Rock doesn't sacrifice randomly. He does it with purpose. He knows that to achieve something remarkable, he must be disciplined about how he spends his energy, his time, and his focus. Every hour not dedicated to improvement is an hour taken away from his future. That's why he protects his time fiercely. He knows that distractions are the enemy of progress. When you start eliminating distractions from your life, you begin to understand what true sacrifice feels like. It's not easy, but the clarity it creates is powerful. There is also an emotional side to sacrifice. The Rock has often spoken about the struggles of his early life, the financial hardships, the failures, the times he felt lost. Sacrifice became his only path forward. He had to sacrifice comfort because he didn't have any. He sacrificed excuses because they didn't serve him. He sacrificed fear because it held him back. These emotional sacrifices were just as important as the physical ones. To rise, he had to let go of everything that kept him small. And that's something everyone who seeks greatness must do. Release the old version of themselves to make room for the new. Sacrifice also builds resilience. When you give something up for your dream, you toughen your mind. You learn to endure discomfort, to push through challenges, to keep going even when things feel unfair or overwhelming. The Rock's resilience didn't come from easy days. It came from sacrifices he made repeatedly, the workouts he didn't skip, the opportunities he didn't take because they didn't align with his mission, the discipline he upheld even when no one was watching. Every sacrifice strengthened his ability to handle pressure. One of the greatest things sacrifice gives you is respect, not from others, but from yourself. When you sacrifice comfort to honor your goals, you build self-trust. You prove to yourself that you can stay committed. You prove that you are capable of making hard choices in pursuit of something bigger. The Rock stands tall, not just because of his muscles, but because of the weight of sacrifices he carried and overcame. That inner strength radiates through everything he does. Sacrifice also creates separation. While others sleep in, procrastinate, or avoid the hard work, the person who makes sacrifices rises above. That gap widens over time. The Rock didn't become who he is by being average. He became who he is by outworking, outlasting, and outdisciplining everyone around him. Sacrifice is what allows you to outperform even the most talented people. Talent might give someone a head start, but sacrifice determines who finishes first. And when the success finally comes, sacrifice is what makes it meaningful. When The Rock stands on a movie set, when he wins awards, when people admire his dedication, he understands the depth of what it took to get there. Because he earned it. Because he paid for it. Because nothing was handed to him. The people who sacrifice the most are the ones who appreciate their success the deepest. Sacrifice turns achievement into pride, progress into passion, and success into purpose. In the end, sacrifice is not about losing. It's about choosing. Choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. Choosing discipline over distraction. Choosing who you want to become over who you are right now. The Rock chooses greatness every day, and every day sacrifice is part of that choice. If you want a stronger body, a sharper mind, a better life, you must embrace sacrifice. It is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the backbone of every breakthrough, the hidden force behind every champion, and the silent companion on every successful journey. Sacrifice shapes you. Sacrifice elevates you. Sacrifice prepares you for greatness. There's a moment in every workout, especially the painful ones, where the weight feels heavier than it should, where your lungs burn, where your legs shake, and where that tiny voice in your head whispers, "This is enough." And it's in that moment right there that people separate themselves from who they are and who they want to be. This is exactly where greatness is born. This is the part Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson talks about the most. The moment where you stop waiting for motivation, stop waiting for the perfect timing, stop waiting for the perfect opportunity, and you choose discipline instead. Discipline is brutal and it demands everything from you, but it also gives you everything you dream of becoming. Because the truth is, nobody wakes up every day feeling ready. Nobody wakes up excited every single morning, not even The Rock. He just chooses to show up again and again, regardless of how he feels. He doesn't negotiate with himself. He doesn't let emotions decide his future. And that's where the real transformation lies. Pain can break you or build you, but discipline, that's what shapes your character. It's what keeps you going when motivation disappears. Motivation gives you a spark. Discipline builds the fire that keeps burning no matter how cold the world gets. When you step into the gym on the days you feel tired, stressed, overwhelmed, or mentally drained, those are the days that matter the most. That's when you rewrite the story you tell yourself. That's when you stop saying "I can't" and start proving that you can. The Rock often says he trains not for some competition, not for applause, not for validation, but because it centers him. It keeps him grounded. It keeps him hungry. And hunger is something you have to feed every single day, not occasionally, not once in a while, every day. Even when life hits hard, especially when life hits hard, most people quit because they think pain is a sign to stop. But pain is a sign you are growing. Pain is a sign you are pushing past the limits that once controlled your life. If you can tolerate discomfort, you can transform your entire existence. If you can stay disciplined through the storm, you become the type of person nobody can break. You learn to trust yourself. You learn to believe in yourself. You learn that you are capable of far more than you ever thought possible. In every painful workout, there comes a point where you question why you're doing it. And this is where you must remember your why. Are you trying to become stronger? Are you fighting to build a better future? Are you trying to break generational cycles? Are you trying to become someone your younger self would be proud of? Your why is what carries you when nothing else makes sense. Your why is what turns pain into fuel. Your why is what makes discipline worth it. When The Rock began his journey, he didn't have fame, success, or privilege behind him. He had setbacks, he had failures, he had pain, but he also had discipline. The discipline to show up, the discipline to keep going, the discipline to push when life pushed harder. And that same discipline is available to you right now, today. But you have to want it badly enough to stop making excuses. You have to be willing to do the uncomfortable things that most people avoid. You have to be willing to build yourself one painful rep at a time. You see, the gym is not just a physical battlefield, it's a mental one. It's where you confront the weaknesses you've been hiding. It's where excuses die. It's where self-doubt gets crushed under the weight you refuse to let defeat you. Every drop of sweat is a reminder that you're fighting for something bigger. Every burning muscle is a reminder that you're evolving. Every rep, every set, every moment where you push even though everything inside you says stop. That's where greatness is formed. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the one thing nobody can give you. Only you can build it. And once you build it, it becomes your superpower. Discipline means waking up early even when your body feels heavy. It means choosing progress over comfort. It means ignoring the noise, the distractions, and the opinions of people who aren't chasing anything themselves. Discipline means choosing the hard road because you know the easy one leads nowhere. There's no magic formula for success. There's no secret hack. There's just effort, consistency, and the willingness